Biz Network.
Hey, thanks for joining us today, everybody. This is Podcast, and today we're going to be reviewing a film from 1991 called Hudson Hawk. This is Maddie. I'm joined by my bro, Paul. How you doing today?
How's it going? Welcome, everybody. Glad to get this film review going. Why don't we talk a little bit about how this came about? I am like an avid Hudson Hawk fan. Watched it growing up just a shit ton. And I believe you've seen it, just a few times, right?
Yeah, but I barely even remember it.
Right, so it's been probably how many years since you've seen it last?
20.
Ooh. So, as a kid, I watched it a lot. As a teenager, I think I watched it once or twice. I've seen it a couple times in my 20s and at least once before this in my 30s. So, it's a little fresher to me.
When I was a kid. That was pretty much it.
Good times, good times. But I mean, even watching it now, like there was a lot of things that like never really caught until now when I was doing the deep dive.
Yeah, it's a weird flick. So I guess the whole movie pretty much just got made because Bruce Willis really, really wanted to play James Bond. And he had they had just made a flopper of a James Bond movie and he wanted a newer, younger, hipper James Bond.
Right.
And MGM was like, no. We tried a non-British dude when we did George Lazenby. It didn't work very good. So we're definitely not going with an American guy. But here's the catch. He had already written a song. Bruce Willis had already written a song that he was in love with and could not get rid of. And so when he found out he couldn't play James Bond, he wrote Hudson Hawk.
I mean,
Bruce Willis wrote this.
Okay. So let's just clear the air right now. This show is so much bollocks. And I mean, and that's for a lack of a better word. It
is the best kind of bullshit.
But I love it. Absolutely. I'm in. Get in all day.
I get it. I really liked it too. But it's just a funny story so he wrote basically a story called Hudson Hawk, and then they turned it over to some screenwriters and they flipped it into a script.
Oh my God. And it's amazing. Like,
yeah.
I mean, look, if you want to dig for plot holes, guess what? You're going to find a lot of them.
A whole shit ton of them.
And if you're going to dig for character development, probably not going to find it.
No. They're mostly just stacks of cliches. So they go out and find
Jokes and jokes galore, though.
Yeah. No, I liked it.
Oh, I love it.
They go out and find a director. It's Michael Lehman. Michael Lehman's the same dude that did Heathers.
The Heathers, Airheads. And then it seemed like after Airheads, he moved right onto a lot of TV. I mean, if you watch TV...
He also did The Truth About Cats and Dogs.
True. But, I mean, if you watch TV to the late 90s into the early 2000s, you definitely watched so much of this guy's stuff.
Oh, yeah, okay. I didn't realize. I mostly looked at his film stuff. He also did My Giant.
Well, I pulled him up on IMDb. And, yeah, so his list goes on and on and on for TV shows. Like, I mean, this guy is... I guarantee you, like, we could run off a 5-minute talk right now of just TV shows that guy's produced, episodes that we would know right off the bat.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then it was produced by Joel Silver.
Whoa, really? I was not even paying attention to that.
In the show notes, I wrote in all caps in bold, "This fucking guy." Anybody that doesn't know Joel Silver, this dude produced literally everything. And when I say everything, I mean everything. Xanadu, 48 Hours, Brewster's Millions, Weird Science, Commando, Lethal Weapon, Predator, Die Hard, Roadhouse, Lethal Weapon 2, The Last Boy Scout, Demolition Man, The Matrix, Exit Wounds, Romeo Must Die, Swordfish, 13 Ghosts, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, V for Vendetta, both of the RDJ Sherlock Holmes movies, Superfly, The Animatrix, Tales from the Crypt, Veronica Mars, TV shows, movies, doesn't matter. You watched his stuff.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Had to add a little music while you were reading all that off, and we're here humming.
That's the short list.
Good Lord. I mean, obviously after director and all that. I mean, before we get into cast and all that, I did look up that this had a budget of $65 million to make,
which is wild to me in 1991 for an
1991.
R-rated movie.
For just a non-knowing script and all that. $65 million. I would imagine today that's probably $200 million budget that you'd have.
Yeah,
for the same movie.
A giant budget in 90s money. Especially, and R-rated movies don't typically make as much money back because you can't target families.
Did you see the bring in for it on the box office?
What, it was like 90 something.
97 million.
How?
Dude, Bruce Willis, man. I mean, he kills it. I mean, this is prime. I even have it written down in here in circles in all caps. This is prime. When we see him step out of the prison for the first time in his hat and his trench coat.
That is so crazy to me that it made back.
Oh, it just made bank. I mean, dude, to bring in like what? What is that?
Oh no, that's a flop still, but it's not.
I mean, 32 million back.
Yeah, but it's not like I'm sure that.
I mean, it's no box office smash, by God. I think it ranked number 9 was as high as it got on the rankings.
Yeah, generally you want to make back more than what you spent on it, but it was a vanity project for Bruce Willis. That's why Danny Aiello was in it. Danny Aiello was in every fucking movie.
Oh yeah, if you wanted to have anything to do with the mob or anything, you're going Danny Aiello.
Yeah, so Danny Aiello's in there.
And then we got Andie MacDowell, just drop dead gorgeous.
At the peak of her stone cold foxiness.
Yeah. Oh my God, she's just gorgeous. Absolutely drop dead.
Hasn't aged well. Looked great in 91.
Well, that's okay.
Oh yeah, no. When I looked her up, I saw the photos. Yeah.
All right.
I did the yeesh. You know the yeesh face emoji.
Yeesh.
The smile that's perfectly level all the way across with the white.
Oh, I feel like that would be like the.
Yeah. There you go. The ultimate butterface also is in this movie. Sandra Bernhard.
Oh man. I actually, in my notes, actually have that written down too. Like probably the most gorgeous woman that I could never be attracted to.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Just too much ear, nose, and mouth.
Like that, and I think maybe because of the way that she looked, they always, like, everybody just casted her as this loudmouth, obnoxious bitch. Like,
yeah, dude.
Like, there's a point in this movie where she's just screaming out lyrics to a song. I can't remember the song at the moment.
I've got the power.
Yeah. Oh my God. What in the actual fuck?
In the middle of a conference room, sitting up on the table.
Like, talk about a scene that never needed to be in a fucking movie.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it. You could cut this out and it would never make any difference. Besides the fact that you're like, look how loud and obnoxious this woman is. But she's gorgeous.
If you guys don't know who Sandra Bernhard is, she's Gina Linetti's mom. Goku was saying hello. Cut
that.
so for those of you that don't know who Sandra Bernhard is, she plays Gina Linetti's mom on Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Like, if you don't, you know her. When you see her and hear her, you're like, oh, yeah, that lady. I'm sure she's a sweetheart in real life. She is super obnoxious on the screen. And I think she's supposed to be, so I love it.
I've seen some of it. I believe she's a stand-up comedian also, before all this. And I've seen some of her stand-up, and it is raunchy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
She's a nasty lady.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
So, never was my taste as far as looks or... honestly, almost too raunchy for me as far as, like, women. I don't know. I don't want to get it. But, like, I think she was great in this movie. She played the exact fucking character that they needed her to.
Absolutely. Fucking nailed it. Robert E. Grant, or Richard E. Grant is in there playing the bad guy. So, in 1991, Richard E. Grant looked a lot like Jeffrey Rush.
Yeah.
I actually thought it was Jeffrey Rush. And I was sitting there, I was like, hey, why didn't it show Jeffrey Rush in the credits? I'd be marching that right out there. Jeffrey Rush is in this movie. Well, it's because it ain't him.
Because he isn't. Alrighty, let's go ahead. Let's get into this. So it opens up like a frickin' fairy tale. We have the fairy tale book, and we're being read the story of Hudson Hawk.
Oh yeah, I put that in what I disliked.
Oh, you didn't like being read the fairy tale story? That
It
made
takes
absolutely no...
all the Da Vinci stuff.
Like, why? Like, I don't understand.
It's not necessary.
So you didn't like the absolutely useless fucking opening montage of fairy tale type stories?
Oh no, I fucking hated it. I timed it. So from the moment that the TriStar Pegasus logo disappears, and
I absolutely love seeing that again. Though.
And that was dope. That's not around anymore, kids. If you're not familiar,
yeah, you won't see that around anymore.
With TriStar, they used to, before Columbia bought them, they used to be Columbia TriStar, and then back before that, TriStar was just their own movie house. And their logo was a beautiful white horse with wings running at the screen, and then it freezes and turns into a little logo. But from the second that logo disappeared, we have 5 minutes and 55 seconds of utter nonsense before we ever hear the first mention of our main character.
Oh, I will admit, though, I have it written down. I do miss the 90s style sets because Leonardo da Vinci's workshop, when they show it, actually, I think looks fantastic.
It looked like the part where you're waiting in line at a Universal Studios.
Oh, yeah.
Like attraction.
Look like I could go right on a ride and see it right now.
Keep your arms and legs inside the car.
Yep. And it makes... So, you immediately realize that alchemy's real in this world. It's doable. Totally a thing. Leonardo da Vinci figured it out.
And again, not necessary.
And then they... because they just... Spoilers, it doesn't actually work. But I guess it kind of could. I don't know. The way they... I don't know.
Well, from what I got is it worked. And then Da Vinci was like...
Yeah, so he splits up the...
This is too...
Yeah, this will change the world. So
he was trying to make bronze, and he accidentally made gold.
Yeah, so he splits up the crystal that he uses to do it into 3 pieces. And at that front part, they try to make it clear that this crystal is important to the story. So keep that in mind.
It's the magical MacGuffin that everybody's after.
So
it's like the Infinity Stone of this movie.
Whereas this should be the main drive for the story, that they're after this crystal, it honestly takes a second back plot to the funnier I need a cup of coffee storyline.
Yeah. So that's one of the things that I loved about this movie is it's this weird clash of it's like an R-rated Superman 3.
Okay, so
or like an R-rated James Bond movie.
Before we move on from just this intro, what did you think? Did you catch the Mona Lisa joke where he doesn't have the mouth painted and she just has horrible teeth?
Oh, I guess I missed that part.
So there's a moment where it shows Leonardo da Vinci, and he's getting ready to walk outside of his castle, and he walks past the Mona Lisa, and everything is painted except her mouth.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Okay, and then he looks over, and Mona Lisa is sitting there, and she smiles, and she just has horrible, great gangly teeth, and Leonardo da Vinci just grimaces, and just leaves the painting unfinished. Which now we know why he painted her not smiling.
That's hilarious.
Horrible teeth.
Is Leonardo da Vinci Eric Stoltz?
I believe so.
No fucking way.
And that's how they decided to use him.
I kept wondering.
And then as soon as we get the Mona Lisa joke, I mean this movie is just a running gag reel. I mean, I swear they just had so much fun making it. So as soon as he leaves the Mona Lisa, he walks outside of the castle to a guy speaking Italian that's in his glider. Did you see this part?
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know Italian, and there was no subtitles.
No, and that's what's great.
But I recognize a no. Don't fling me off this castle, please.
Yeah. And the tone is that Da Vinci's basically like, oh, don't worry about it. You're gonna be fine.
Yeah, you're good. We've never tested it, but I assume that you're gonna make it right to the ground.
Yeah. And then he shoves this dude off the top of a castle.
And then we get the first of many. We just cut right from one scene, and we're just in the middle of something else. And it cuts right over to a 1991 prison scene.
Well, yeah, you're going from one artist to another artist, an artist of cat burglary.
Right. I mean,
that's a line.
And we'll talk.
The narrator says that.
We will talk about this more. But some of these jump scenes where you're in the middle of action and all of a sudden you're just into another scene,
The smash cuts.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
dude.
I do not remember those as a kid. And the first couple made me laugh. And then by the end of the movie, I was like,
They're a little jarring.
what are we doing here?
Kind of kills the vibe.
So
This movie is a vibe, though.
yeah,
all,
I mean,
all
it's,
by
it's
itself.
the whole thing is just one big vibe, and if you do, you can't catch, you got to catch it, and you can't fall off it. You got to
No.
stay, you got to ride the whole thing to the end.
No.
Oh, and I loved it. It's like we flip over from that intro, and boom, you're back in the '90s. Film quality, sets, fucking prime Bruce Willis, everything. You're just back in the '90s.
Yeah.
I love it.
So speaking of sets, though, like one thing I noticed is, so like the Da Vinci's studio looked like we said, the waiting room at like the fucking haunted mansion, basically.
Right.
But the prison was like a real prison.
Yeah. No, it looks seriously good. It looked like they were walking through like
It's
a
like
real...
they went out on location and shot it at a prison.
And that's the budget.
Yeah.
We got that prison shot. Looks great.
Or they ran out of budget, and so they were like, "Is there a fucking prison nearby?
Can we just walk through
Can
here?
we
Everybody
just drive
meet
over
Bruce
there real
Willis?
quick?"
Oh, and I love how immediately he walks out of his cell, probation officer there, and just as we're walking through the fucking prison, hey, you want to go steal some shit?
Oh yeah,
do a job for me?
He immediately tries to blackmail
Just
him into
immediately,
doing a job.
Dude just walked out of his prison cell.
Uh-huh.
And just already like, hey, you want to go steal? And he's not like being quiet about it or anything. Like he's just freaking talking about it.
Oh yeah, anybody could hear him.
Yeah, like, what the hell?
I bet he's the parole officer for half those dudes, though.
But I mean, there's other guards and stuff. Like, you're not thinking one guy is going to be like, that was kind of weird. Why is he talking about that? Is it a joke? I don't know.
And that character, what's his name? Gates, the parole officer.
Yeah.
He's like totally unnecessary too.
Oh yeah, all of that's unnecessary because as soon as he meets the mob in the bar, here in a minute,
It could have just been the.
it
mob
could have just
guys.
been the mob at the goddamn bar.
Yeah.
So I mean, between what we've already said, we've cut out 15 minutes of this 2-hour movie.
Yes. Runtime was a little lengthy for a movie of this nature.
What was it? 1 hour, 39 minutes, 53 seconds total on YouTube renting.
I also rented it on YouTube.
I believe that's probably an hour too long for this movie.
You want a tight 45 minutes?
Oh, I don't want nothing. I'm just saying what they could cut.
Okay.
I love it as it is.
Yeah.
Absolutely. As long as I'm not having to watch this every day, I could throw it on a couple times a month, maybe.
Well, and what's weird is they do. Oh, I bumped my table. Sorry. Maybe cut there. Cut. So what's weird is they do a couple of my favorite things.
I'll be a little kid there. They do.
They do. Nice. A couple of my favorite things from films, which is where like they throw in random little extra details that like flesh out, like his favorite bar that he's part owner of is now.
Oh, what happened?
It's now a yuppie
It's this
hangout for
90s
stockbrokers and lawyers and
upbeat
shit.
Douchebag fucking...
Doucheville.
Like, oh man.
Doucheberg. I don't know what. Yeah, but stuff like that is hilarious.
The scene where Tommy picks him up, Tony Aiello, Tommy
Five Tone. Yeah.
His character's great too.
His name's Five Tone.
Tommy Five Tone.
Tommy Five Tone.
When he first picks him up from the prison and his car backfires and Bruce Willis just hits the ground.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I did when I got out of prison was hit my knees and kiss the ground.
Yeah. Shit like that is great.
Perfect. I mean, perfect. It just builds that character of, oh, he's been in prison too, obviously.
But it's also weirdly juxtaposed to how ridiculous the rest of the movie is.
Oh, yeah. It just leads you right into the bollocks. But it's amazing.
Yeah, the characters feel it's weird because some of the characters feel real and some of the characters feel like fucking cartoons.
And then he gets into the car, they drive away from the prison, and we end our first real intro to the movie as he gets his first cup of coffee that he does not get a drink as it gets spilled in the car.
And that's a running gag throughout the whole movie.
Yep.
Every time he thinks he's about to have a delicious cappuccino, something happens. In this case, a dude fucking shoots it with a handgun.
Yeah,
in the middle of a crowded bar.
So as we open up to the next scene, as they're talking about the bar and everything, he goes to have... Ooh, bump my table. As they go to have that... He goes to have a cup of coffee in the bar that he's half owner of, that yet again, I don't need to know that. That made no difference in the storyline whatsoever, him half owning that bar. Okay. So I guess in that storyline, it means that he would want to just be a normal free man more.
It gives him a reason to go straight. He's got money coming in.
Okay, so I'll give him that. I'll give him that for sure. But at this point, he pours himself or orders a cup of coffee. They slide it down.
And it looks great.
It looks great.
Got like whipped cream on the top.
He smells it.
Nutmeg sprinkled on it.
And as he's about to drink it, somebody shoots it out of his hand. And that's not even the best part. That's not the best part. That somebody just shot it out of his hand in a bar, which, great shot. But we'll get to a better one here later on. Nobody fucking reacts to this shot.
Oh, it's silent. It's a silencer, Paul.
Are you kidding me? The dude is standing up in the middle of the restaurant pointing a gun and just shoots this cup of coffee out.
Nobody notices.
Nobody says a thing. Nobody notices. And
They're
Bruce
all-
Willis just walks over like it's just everyday thing for him.
Yeah, and he says hello to two brothers with the last name Mario. One of which is obviously the dumb one. Caesar Mario and Anthony Mario. So literally the Mario brothers.
You know how little they mean in this?
Nothing.
I started to write a note on them and then didn't even fucking finish it.
The most interesting thing about them is that Caesar is played by Frank Stallone, Sylvester Stallone's younger brother.
I did see that on IMDb. Literally, they're just throwaway characters to get us to the British butler.
That's our second Nintendo reference. He got out of the prison, and Tommy says something about Nintendo, and he goes, "What's Nintendo?"
Oh, and that's not the last of our Nintendo references.
No, and now two of the worst characters in the movie are named after the Mario brothers. I wonder if, and everything, all the electronics that you see are like Sony. So I almost wonder if like
Sony
Bruce
didn't have
Willis
some
got
type of
spurned
marketing.
by Nintendo, and Sony picked up a deal.
Or maybe in real life, Bruce Willis just really fucking liked playing Nintendo. Just loved it.
Yeah, it's a weird thing that does pop up several times throughout the movie.
So after the gunshot, they tell him that he's going to do a job for him. And
The very same job that Gates wanted him to.
because Gates is in on it.
Yeah.
So you'll find out in this movie, everybody but Bruce Willis is in on this fucking shit besides him. Like literally everybody.
One of the things I love, actually.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. Everybody's in on it with everybody else, and everybody knows everybody else except Hudson Hawk. He's the only one not in on it.
Yeah. It's
But
pretty.
we get his second job offer or job in 24 hours of being out of prison.
Job threat.
Yeah, is this what it's like for convicts? Like, this couldn't be what, like, life is hard, man. Like,
Maybe.
I mean, I can see it, but
He tried to go straight. The streets was bending him.
yeah, and then we literally cut from that bar scene to him packing up his bag and getting ready to do this job.
Yeah, they're like reviewing specs on the safe.
I immediately was like, well, that didn't take fucking much convincing.
And
You're not even going to try to say no? I mean, you did say no, but you didn't really say no. You were like, talk some shit, and then you did it.
But this is also where we get introduced to my favorite gimmick of the whole movie, which is that
fat jokes galore.
no.
Oh,
He
no,
doesn't.
not the fat
he
jokes,
doesn't
huh?
use a watch or a clock to keep
Oh,
time.
yes. No, I have that written down also.
He and Tommy sing songs, duets. So he's sitting there trying to think of what song they're going to use to time their burglary.
Yeah, and so if they needed to be 3 minutes, they'll pick a song that's 3 minutes, 6 seconds long, and they'll sing it together. Amazing. Actually, probably one of the most original things in this entire movie, as far as like caper movies, heists movies, and all that. I've never seen something like that before. Absolutely gold. Chef's kiss. Mwah.
Yeah, I loved it. And this is also where we see Hawk, Eddie Hawkins, Hudson Hawk, is actually a pretty fucking smart thief. Because, like, they have to get down on their hands and knees to get past some guards but it's a linoleum floor, and, like, that would fucking hurt your knees. So, you know what they have?
Skateboards.
They have skateboards.
Oh, and this is literally the moment that we get the best joke in the entire movie. Security guards that they're rolling past on the skateboards are talking. One of them is reading a phone book. And he says, and I quote, 673 Wongs in the phone book.
Oh, yeah.
And the other guard goes, that's a whole lot of Wong numbers.
So good, man.
Oh my goodness. Like,
And these are just throwaway characters. But that's what I mean is it's those little details that in high quality movies make you're like, oh, that security guard's fucking hilarious. Like
these same guards that are working with another guard that happens to be very heavy set, overweight. They see him on camera sit on a wooden chair and start falling asleep. They then proceed to get their walkie-talkie, turn it up full volume, and yell his name into it.
Scare the shit out of him.
Scare the shit out of him and cause him to break the wooden chair and shatter it and fall on his ass.
Splinters the whole thing.
I literally have written down, that's fucked up, hilarious.
But also realistic.
Yeah, I mean, what else are you going to do overnight guarding a
That's
museum?
the type of stuff you would do.
Oh, yeah. I mean, fucked up, but I would definitely do it. How are you going to miss those chances?
So that ends up being what kind of gives Hawk and Tommy away. Is they spot the chair in a video loop because they masked all the security cameras with the video loop.
Right before that is when we get that scene that Matt was talking about with the... It's a whole time musical scene to Swinging on a Star with Bruce Willis and Danny Aiello. And it is amazing to see them work together like that. Like, the whole scene is just beautifully shot.
Yeah, it's great. It's also amazing that Bruce Willis thought he could sing.
Oh, yeah. I mean, absolutely funny.
He's not good.
Like, and it's not even that he can't carry a tone. It's just that he can't ever get on beat. Like, you're like, how does he keep track of sound when he's not? Never mind.
Yeah.
This is not the biggest problem in this movie.
Yeah, so they end up escaping. They have their magical Da Vinci piece of art. It's like a horse.
It's a little horse. When they get the horse, you're like, what is this?
I guess it was a model of the big bronze horse.
Right.
That he was supposed to build for the Count of Milan or Duke of
what
Milan
got me is, okay, so the guards like that, like you were talking about, the guards see the video of the chair, and then they just know, like they see the chair and they're like, oh my God, the video has been looped. They just know exactly, like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
There's no question. These guys are just genius people, and they're the most throwaway characters, but they know exactly. Oh, the video has been looped. We know exactly where they are. They're stealing this.
Yeah, like it's weird that they assume that they're being robbed and not like...
Not just something wrong with the camera
video
or something.
Equipment's malfunctioning, so let's go do a manual check of
or,
all the...
hey, the power just went out.
Right.
I bet you these cameras might be messed up. Maybe
They're
they're
all
just
on a
frozen or
delay now.
something. Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're right. They do...
No. Somebody looped it. Somebody's here. Instantly, dude. I love it.
They spot the malfunction on the video, and they immediately know they're being robbed.
I mean, all I can chalk it up to is good hiring by the museum. These are the best guards ever.
Oh, except that they... Remember they get thumb cuffed together?
Oh, yeah. They get thumb cuffed by Bruce
and
Willis.
then he bonks
in like
their heads together
4
and that
seconds.
somehow knocks them like unconscious or something.
Yeah, so...
But then the fat guard comes running by and says, get up, you're embarrassing me.
So, smartest guards ever, worst guards ever.
Yeah.
Well,
then they get away and they meet... So this is where we lose Gates.
No, and this is another immediate cutscene. We are heisting, running away,
Jumping off a building.
and it cuts immediately to some guy's apartment.
And it's weird because they
It
make
cuts to the probation officer's apartment.
Yeah, it's the probation officer.
But
they make
it's a hard cut. Like, all of a sudden, he literally fell out of the sky.
Well, he was falling through like a canvas awning.
Yeah, they
thing.
jumped off the building.
And then it almost makes it, the way they film it makes it look like he then falls through the ceiling into a recliner.
Yeah.
And is in Gates' apartment.
Yeah, so am I supposed to, what am I supposed to believe here?
Well, it's weird because I've seen movies where they do that before, where like the shot stays focused on the character and they're just like whooshed into another scene.
But this is
But
almost
this is the
jarring.
only time that it happens in this movie.
No, it's not.
Oh, really?
There's more. I'll point
Maybe
them out.
I didn't notice them.
I will point them out as we
Okay.
go.
But it was really weird, and it felt out of place. You know what else I noticed that feels really out of place? Oh, I bumped my table again. Cut. You know what else I noticed that feels really out of place is it's really violent.
Oh, yeah, extraordinarily violent. This is where we meet the butler that's obviously British, that they call Mr. French, which I thought was a hilarious joke.
Well, his real name's Alfred.
Yeah. So, and he just slices our probation officer's neck. Just, thank you for stealing the horse. I smashed it, got one part of the jewel, and fucked off. You're done.
We met Gates at the prison. We saw him at the bar. Now he's dead.
Yeah, like, what?
But guess who else is there?
Bruce Willis.
And the Mario Brothers.
Oh, the Mario Bros. Yeah, yeah. So that's our link to the butler, like I was saying before. That's like their only job, really.
They could have just been there when he got out of prison, tried to hustle him for a minute or two before Tommy shows up. And you don't need Gates at all. You don't need the parole officer.
We could have cut 15 minutes of this movie off.
The parole officer is irrelevant. But yeah, Butler just slices his neck, he smashes the horse, and then there's a crystal inside.
What do you think of the butler's sword?
Fucking dope.
I mean, dude, this is back in 91.
It's like a switchblade.
And it's like better than
wakizashi.
Assassin's Creed Altair's fucking blade, bro.
Yeah, so like first it shoots out of his sleeve, but at that point it's closed.
But it swings open like a butterfly
And
knife.
then the sword itself, no, it's like a giant switchblade.
Yeah.
So it extends and then it flips like open, and then he's holding like, it's like a wakizashi. Like it's a decent sized little sword.
It's a small sword, like a broadsword, like. And then
Super
it folds
cool.
up just as easy.
Super cool.
Amazing. And then we cut to bum bum bum. They actually didn't steal the horse, apparently.
Yeah, so weird.
Like, okay. And you know what's funny is we're not the only ones that are surprised. So is Hudson Hawk and Tommy.
And this is where the whole movie turns. So this is kind of where the movie starts.
This is where the movie fucking derails if you're actually trying to follow the storyline and everything that's going on. This is where it takes a very far leap off a fucking cliff.
So Hawk is out. Like, if he wants to be. He's done. Yeah. He's out.
I mean...
He delivered his horse to his person.
At this point, if he just got his shit and got out of town, nobody would have came looking for him.
Gates is dead. His parole officer's dead. Crooked anyway. By the time anybody notices that he's missing, he could be in Guatemala.
Yeah, he could have sold his half of the bar.
But
him and Tommy could have been gone.
He is annoyed
that I don't know everything and I'm tired of being played.
That he didn't steal the real...
Yeah, I have my pride. What? No. What? So what is all the exposition that we heard earlier on in the movie about you just wanting to be a free man and live a normal life?
Right.
Selling spatulas. What? No. What?
Yeah, well, that was them trying to add one of the guards being funny.
Yeah.
They were trying to add a detail to make his character feel more real, but it just feels stupid. Like a guy that was a cat burglar is going to go to sell spatulas?
Yeah.
No, man, he's going to do something to be passionate. If he was like, no, I'm going to restore this fucking sailboat and sail around. Okay.
So for some reason at this point, he decides that he's going to go try to figure out what is going on and why it says that he didn't steal the horse when he did.
Which means he needs to attend an auction where they're auctioning horse things.
And this is where we meet his beautiful co-actress that we mentioned before.
Andie MacDowell.
Thank you.
Looking fine. Looking great.
Oh, and we get our first glimpse at the candy bars.
Oh, yeah.
Woo, woo. Probably one of my favorite parts of the show. So stupid. So stupid. It doesn't make any sense.
And he's wearing a tuxedo that's totally 1991. And he wears little round shades into the auction house.
Although I absolutely do love how she just kind of like turns him down. He's like, I love coming to auctions. And she's like, I hate them. I think they're horrible. And he's like, yeah, me too. Me too.
Well, then he talks shit and he's like, about people that are involved in auctions and antiques. And he's like, do you have to be a pompous whatever?
So,
and then she stands up and goes,
yeah, she's like, oh, I'm a doctor. Oh, no. The candy bars, they work for, you don't know it yet, but they work for a guy that, another plot twist, is the guy that put Hudson Hawk in jail the first 10 years that we just saw him get out, but has a whole new face, so he doesn't look like the guy that put Hudson Hawk in the prison, and so Hudson Hawk doesn't recognize him, but when he does, now he's working with a new crew, and Hudson Hawk can't do nothing.
Yeah, he looks like James Coburn now.
Did I cover that right? That's what actually I'm supposed to believe happened, right?
Basically.
Holy cow.
He's ex-CIA. When he used to work for the CIA, he framed Hawk.
What?
Yeah.
I thought he was still CIA.
Is he still CIA?
They keep saying the CIA's involved,
Maybe. Okay. So he's CIA.
but it would make more sense that he's ex-CIA.
Because why is he working
How
with
do
the...
you change your fucking whole persona like
Why is he
that and
working
still
with the
have a
candy
job?
bars?
Yeah, and why is he working with the Mayflowers, which we haven't even fucking met yet?
No, we meet them
We
in
meet
this scene,
them like
too.
about
we
right
meet
now.
a
yeah.
lot of people.
Oh, a lot of shit happens and goes crazy from here.
A lot of characters are introduced real quick. And this is where David Caruso... So it showed David Caruso in the credits, and I didn't realize that he was one of the candy bars till almost the end of the movie.
Oh yeah, dude. Love the candy bars are amazing. They're henchmen, and what do we have? We have one guy, a big guy named after Butterfinger. The smart guys after Snickers,
Spoiler alert, he's Butterfinger's a klutz.
obviously. We have the Kit Kat guy, and then we have the chick that's Almond Joy.
Yeah. And they do sometimes stuff works. Like the first time...
The first time you see them and they're eating the Kit Kat and they're in the red suits.
Yeah.
Oh, it's beautiful. I mean, it's so perfect. And the look on Bruce Willis's face of like, what in the fuck?
Yeah,
Obviously,
and
these guys aren't
Almond
supposed
Joy,
to be
the
here.
Almond Joy girl. Like...
Oh, you know how bad it is to be called chlamydia for 3 years?
Yeah.
Oh,
well,
my.
so that's all after he rides the fucking ambulance gurney.
Oh my God! Yeah, we can't skip over that. So
Which is after the bomb explodes, which is after we meet the Mayflowers.
So the Mayflowers come in, and we finally get to meet our main protagonist for the main bad guys.
This is when I thought Jeffrey Rush was in the movie.
This is Sandra Bernhard and
Yeah.
who plays?
Richard E. Grant.
Yeah, so he plays and they're the Mayflowers.
If you don't know who that is,
Look it
that's
up.
cool. I don't know who it is either. This is the only thing I remember him from.
Yeah, so
I just pretended it was Jeffrey Rush the whole time. I feel like that role, like when Bruce Willis was creating this movie and Joel Silver was making this, they were like, we got to get Jeffrey Rush. And then they couldn't, so they like got this dude instead. But yeah, he comes in bidding on the horse, and then he gets outbid by $1 by his wife, Sandra Bernhard.
yeah, what was all that about?
I think they're just putting on a show to distract from the bomb that's about to go off.
Okay, and then we have so the doctor's up talking. She kind of saves him from the security guard. Did you see that? Mm-hmm. The bomb goes off, and she just stands there like an idiot, about to be crushed by a pillar when she obviously could have just stepped 1 inch to the side.
Yeah.
Hudson Hawk saves her and says one of my favorite lines of the movie when she asks why did he do that. He says,
she's like, you didn't have to do that. That was really brave.
Danger's my middle. And then he gets knocked out by a goddamn cement unicorn.
Yeah.
Boom!
So before that
no.
happens, though, are they bidding on a fake horse? This is what I got from it.
So it is a fake horse.
'Kay.
And she's there from the Vatican to verify that it's real.
To lie and say that it's real.
But the Vatican wants everybody to think that the real one,
Is about to get blown up
yeah.
in a bombing.
Yep.
So then
she
there's a
verifies
public
it,
explanation
boom,
for why
or it
it's
being
missing and it's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So he gets knocked out. We get another,
But you also learn that she's in on it.
yeah.
Because
Oh,
right as the bomb is
yeah.
about to go off, the Mayflowers duck their heads, and that fat security guard recognizes Bruce Willis, and he's about to run into the blast zone and die, so she trips him.
Yeah. So she trips him. The bomb goes off. He saves her. And then, as he's knocked out, we get another jarring cutscene to him just waking up in an ambulance.
Yeah,
Just out of nowhere, he got kidnapped.
with the Mario brothers there.
And we get another amazing scene where, and this is brutal. This is where things started getting really violent in my mind. He sticks that guy in the face with so many syringes.
Oh, it's like a dozen hypodermic needles.
That guy is dead.
They're in like a rack.
And there's some type of green liquid in him.
And for some reason, none of them are covered.
Yeah. So
But he just grabs
takes
that
all of
rack
them
and
to the
just
face.
slams it into the dude's face.
that guy's dead.
For sure.
He's not with us no more.
For sure.
But he's not in the movie. He's okay. We see
For
him
a few minutes.
We see him again. He gets up. Yeah, he gets up and like looks into the front of. Yeah.
That's what I mean, for a few minutes.
For a few minutes. I mean, I don't think we see him again too much after that.
So then we get one of my favorite just
they-
bonkers fucking scenes
So-
I've ever seen.
Bruce Willis fights him off, and in the pursuing mayhem, the back door's open. He slides out because he's on a gurney with wheels. Slides out,
But he's still connected to the ambulance by
a sheet.
bed sheet.
So it's dragging him behind, and he's perfectly steering this gurney.
And some girl asks him straight up, "Are you going to die?
Are you going to die?"
Like, what? Just a passerby.
This is where I have written jokes galore, just running wild.
Way too many.
Yeah, like, somebody dial 1-800, I'm going to die.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
And is that even a joke?
No, because he was going to die.
I don't understand the joke.
I don't know.
Right. A lot of them missed.
I do know that his lane changes and full steering of that
Are
thing
on point.
On point.
Yeah, dude.
Had to have Bruce Willis for this. Nobody else could have done
And
it.
that thing had the best fucking bearings I've ever seen.
The best part about it is
didn't lose any speed.
He pays a toll bridge
Exact
on
change.
the gurney, exact change as he's going through. It's gorgeous. It's so perfect.
Yeah, but then the ambulance crashes.
So this is where I literally just have a question mark. So as he rolls up on the gurney, there's just people waiting for him. The Snickers and the candy bars are waiting for him with their boss. How does everybody know where the fuck this guy is?
I don't know, but Kit Kat kind of diffuses the weirdness by just directly addressing it head on. He slides down from a freeway overpass on a fucking rope.
Yeah.
And he just holds a card up in front of Bruce Willis's face that says, "My name is Kit Kat.
This is not a dream.
This is not a dream," because that would be the first thing that you're fucking thinking.
Yeah. Halfway through this movie, you're like, I figured this movie out. Well, he's going to wake up. And it's all a dream. No. Absolutely not.
My name is Kit Kat. This is not a dream.
No.
Because Bruce Willis,
No fucking Inception
he's laying
here.
on his hospital gurney. He just got out of a high-speed chase on a fucking hospital gurney.
And now he has these people named after candy bars telling him their name and punching him in the face one after another.
And that's when Almond Joy reveals that the naming thing is a James Coburn gimmick. What's his name? Kaplan? George Kaplan?
Kaplan, yeah.
And he keeps making up new versions of the CIA, and this one's called the MTVIA. And he named them all after candy bars, but they used to be named after STDs.
Wow.
So she was chlamydia for a
I
year.
think that joke could have maybe just been left out also.
Yeah, it was a big miss. Big old misfire.
And then we also get another jarring cut back to another apartment that we've never been in. And they knock Bruce Willis out.
And they load him in a crate with packing peanuts.
That says priority mail, and they ship him to Italy. This man is dead.
100%.
No way you're making it to Italy alive in a goddamn shipping crate like that with packing peanuts.
They don't pressurize the cargo planes.
No, and like...
If it flew up above 20,000 feet, he's toast.
And it's, okay, assuming this is Bruce Willis we're talking about, I'm sure he can make that. What about food? What about water? What about
oxygen? That's a problem.
Yeah, and
for most people.
And and the way he wakes up and everything keeps going. Apparently, this priority mail made it to Italy in like one day.
Well, and he wakes up from being drugged and shipped across the ocean, and he's just like ready to go.
Super cool with it. Like,
he's
we're in Italy.
Good to go.
Anybody got a cup of coffee?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Do you know what I would do if I woke up in that situation? There was a bed right there next to the crate.
Oh, I'd crash the fuck out.
Not even a question. I would be like, it appears that this room is safe. I'm going to fucking sleep on a regular bed. I'm sure my back would be hurting.
Dude, so now we finally get to meet the Mayfields officially. And this is where we get the scene where she's just screaming out lyrics.
Well, first they're in the limo. And he says, straight up, he's the villain.
Oh, yeah. I'm the villain. This is what, blah, blah, blah.
And his limo's hilarious because he has a fax machine on his left.
Oh,
and
I love it, dude.
On his right is a shredder, but the shredded document doesn't go into a trash can. It just goes outside the car.
Boom.
And just all over the
Problem
road.
solved. This is 90s mentality. This is how we take care of things.
So the villain is also a litter bug, just to make it even worse.
Yeah, just to make him even more of a dick.
Yep. And then he's constantly like licking his lips. Did you notice that?
Yeah. I don't know what that was all about. Like
with his mouth open though.
Yeah.
So it's like
this weird sexual like Hannibal Lecter from the
weird.
Silence of the Lambs. Weird.
Fucking weird.
Come here, Clarice.
Yeah.
Ooh, I don't know if people like that in the mic. And yeah, we finally get the scene where she's
The conference
just
room scene is so weird.
screaming it out. Although, we see these handcuffs that they put him in. I want the Simon Says handcuffs. God damn it! Absolutely want them. I will pay somebody right now to make me a pair of Simon Says handcuffs.
The combination keypad in between was just like it was like a 4x4
Simon
grid
Says, bro.
of just multicolored dots.
Which, dude, everybody thinks, oh, it's easy. You just blue, red, whatever it lights up. But what if it's like you got to
Which row
Or no, what if you got to beat like 12 levels of Simon Says?
to get them off?
Yeah.
Well, and the person
And
wearing
it's
them,
behind your back.
the person wearing them can't actually touch the.
So you'd just be going off sound. Maybe get a thumb up there or a finger. So you might not even be able to reach all the buttons.
You'd need a partner. You need a second person,
I want them.
or else you'd have to like bring them around your feet and be like doing it with your toe.
Bring me the Simon Says handcuffs.
Yeah, clever, but also weirdly out of place.
So, and we finally get full movie explanation and all that. World domination. How? Why for? No,
Being
you-
a billionaire is too easy.
You ain't getting any of that. Any backstory on why or how for.
No,
Just world domination, baby.
being a
What's-
billionaire was too
It was,
easy.
it was too much. I've
Made his
already
first
done
billion
it.
by 19.
Yep, been there, done that. Let's take over the world. Oh, and not just like take over the world and let's run it. Let's fuck the world and then run it.
Darwin is a cartoon character, right?
Yeah, like I don't.
Darwin and Minerva both.
Oh yeah, totally just pulled straight out of a cartoon.
Like they
would
could
make.
be bad guys on the Fairly Odd Parents or something.
Oh yeah, I was thinking like Courage.
Courage the Cowardly
Yeah,
Dog.
yes, yes.
Yep. That's how cartoony they are.
This is literally where I have written "Don't dig for plot holes" because you'll find them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You'll fall through one out all the way out the other side of the world.
Yeah, like, oh man, so many things. So they tell him that he's about to go steal the codex.
The what?
The codex.
Oh wait, sorry, hold on. This sounds important. Were we supposed to know about this before now?
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, you were supposed to just assume that there would be more Leonardo things that we haven't mentioned before that he's going to have to steal.
My bad. I guess I
So-
missed. I
and then-
missed where they ever fucking mentioned anything about a codex
And then we now
before this very instant.
jarring cutscene number. I don't even know at this point. Now we cut to the inside of the museum.
Are they smashing it where it seems like Hudson Hawk is just like
It's like he's fucking Deadpool and he's just jumping from one scene to another.
yeah,
And,
so like
and
his
as he
wardrobe
remains-
doesn't
yeah, and
change.
As he remains the same, everything else around him changes.
Right.
So it makes it seem like everything to him is happening in this moment while the world rotates around him.
It would almost work better if they let you see the film and lighting crew walk
Yeah,
through and
almost, yeah.
change the scene real quick.
Because there is no
And like freshen up his makeup and everything, and then just have him like sit back down and keep playing.
yeah, it's so weird because there's no like how did he get there or like in between scenes or just if like and the dialogue is so much so that if it isn't moving the storyline along or a joke, there just isn't any. It's always just a joke or it's always moving the storyline. Like, did you notice that? Like, there's never just any like getting a feel for the characters and how they would talk or anything or anything.
Unless
like
it's Tommy.
yeah, Tommy has a lot of lines like
They're
that.
the
that you
only
get a
because
feel, yeah.
when they're during the first heist, they go through a swimming pool at the hotel next door, and he's like, "Oh crap, Tommy! This ruins everything. There's a sign here that says no horseplay around the pool."
So at this point, he finds out that the doctor works for the Vatican, and that she.
The doctor's a nun. Haven't we learned that by now?
Nope,
Okay.
we haven't learned that point yet. Spoilers.
Spoiler. This whole thing's a spoiler.
Spoilers that don't fucking matter.
Oh yeah.
Like
You can't spoil what's already rotten.
So at this point, he goes in, he cases the joint for maybe 5 minutes, and immediately knows how to rob this place better than anybody ever could, and it's perfect.
Well, and he tests out the security system by throwing that little stuffed
Yep.
elephant,
Yep. And
and
then-
somehow does not get arrested.
No. And then, the doctor chick whisks him away into the secret Vatican trains. And if you want to talk fucking plot holes, so he wrote his entire list on how to do everything, right? Mm-hmm. Before that scene. So, and then he asks her, what is all this? And she tells him and explains what the trains are in the mail and all that.
Oh, yeah, but
somehow,
the train's like a key.
But somehow he already had written down, I'm going to take the train, I need the stamps, I'm going to hide in a box. So how did he know about all that when he didn't know about the train existing beforehand? Whew. Boo, plot hole.
Bad continuity, yeah.
Like,
maybe they had to edit those scenes in out of order.
Something. I don't. I had to watch it back a couple of times to make sure that like my brain wasn't just cutting out.
I didn't even catch that, but it's really obvious.
It was just really bad. I was like, oh no.
And then this is when we learn Andy McDowell's a nun.
Yes.
Right? Because the Jesus statue fucking lights up, and it is an
in big old letters
thing.
right here in the note. Right. The talking Jesus statue that lights up, that's just always listening, apparently. Yeah. Oh my God, scary. But at the same time, I have not laughed like that in a minute. Like, just seeing it made me laugh out loud. Like, literally
because Bruce Willis leaves and she just turns to the statue and just, Father, he's obviously up to something. And you're like, who in the fuck? And then it lights up and you hear a voice come out of it. And you're like, holy shit.
My God. Oh my God. For real. Oh, before that.
Holy something.
When he actually. So when he does go in and steal it, it's the most simple, quick heist scene that you would ever think of. Like, it's super quick.
But it's also really clever, like the way that he does it.
Oh yeah.
And it leaves you like, it's really silly, but it also leaves you like,
you're like, okay,
would that work?
Yeah, you're like, wow, that all. The one thing that I did take away from it, and it was mostly my thought for you, did you like the Batman grapple out of the roof?
Oh, yeah.
And he just straight up out of the roof like Batman. I loved it. Absolutely.
So many Batman references in this movie, too.
Oh, and this is where we get one of the greatest shots where he's ziplining out of the museum. The no-name guard that's never been mentioned before takes one shot. Nails the zip line mechanism in action to drop Bruce Willis down onto a light pole, crotch shot.
On the move from a roof at night.
These guards that they're hiring, amazing. I want to know where to hire these type of security guards.
For real. And then he ends up ass up inside of a truck with chickens.
It's a double-decker bus.
Okay.
No. No. At that point, it is the one with chickens. It's yeah. So and this is where we get
smashes some chicken crates.
This is where we get jarring cutscene number 43, where it literally cuts from him falling out of that truck
into a dinner chair
at a date
with Andy McDowell.
With Ann.
Yeah.
And he's spitting chicken feathers out of his mouth.
No, I think he puts his hand up to his mouth and goes and blows the feathers
But that would make me assume that happened, that he fell out of the truck into their date, and that Anne is just dumb enough that she didn't notice this man falling into her date.
Yeah. So weird.
So jarring.
And then he orders ketchup.
Oh, yeah.
With his Italian
I have that written out. Italians giving out about Americans, even back in the 90s. And the waiter
is livid. I'm glad there's not subtitles there because I'm sure it was all cuss words.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure that Italian guy was just like, this stupid-ass American goddamn ruining our food. Go back to your own goddamn country. Exactly. Oh, at this point I did have, I love the fact that they went all original soundtrack. There's no, hit songs or anything. This is all scored, original soundtrack.
I actually put down under what I dislike the score. Because I felt like I was watching, an old...
a 90s action film.
No, I felt like I was watching, a Charlie Chaplin silent movie where the music has to fill in. Something exciting's happening. We're going to get exciting horns and brass. The most cliche music.
I really liked it because the only time that you got to hear named songs was when they were doing the music scenes with Bruce Willis and Tommy and stuff. So those were the name songs, and then the rest of it was scored to almost big band and like original music.
It felt like
stuff.
a Looney Tunes episode.
I loved it.
I
It just
hated
for me, it tied this whole bollocks of a movie together.
Oh yeah, there were so many things I hated. So there were so many things that felt weirdly low budget, like the wardrobe.
And at this point after the date, it's like a 5-minute date, and they're like, "Check, please, back to her apartment."
Yeah, they don't even order food.
No.
Or wait, no, they ordered the food, but they don't even wait for the food to come.
She finds out that he's been to prison, and she's like, "I find that arousing," and he's like, "Check, please," and they just go back to the apartment.
Right.
Wow.
Where she rubs his bruises, and then...
And this is over halfway through the movie, this is where we actually find out why he's called Hudson Hawk.
Which is a dumb reason.
Like, it's a dumb reason. Okay, I lived in a little...
But a lot of nicknames have dumb reasons.
I lived in a little city next to the Hudson Bay, and a hawk flies on the wind and stuff, so Hudson Hawk.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
Let's cut this.
And his
thing.
last name's Hawkins. Eddie Hawkins.
Yeah. So
whatever.
obviously,
it all
the
works.
Hudson Hawk. Yeah. So I guess it works. And then we get.
We don't need to know that.
And then we get the return of the talking Christ statue. Did you catch that again? When the alarm goes off when they find out that he stole the Codex.
And she's like, somebody robbed the Vatican, and then
it like falls out of his jacket or some shit.
He's dumb enough to just leave it in like a backpack, just sitting on a
and then
chair.
She's like,
and
"Tell me you didn't." And he's like, "Bitch, it's right there." Like, what do you want me to say? Like,
she's like, "You stole the horse thing, and then you came here and it took you less than 3 days of planning, and you stole this fucking journal."
Yeah. So what do you have planned for the weekend? Still in the Coliseum? I'm like, that was good. That's a good line. That she hit him good right there.
Yeah, but this is where it also gets a little weird because you find out that everybody is working together against...
So this is the most shocking moment of the film to me. Like, I have never remembered this moment. And I watched it back. I probably watched it back 8 times, mainly because I was dying laughing. To me, it was the most... So as they're still in the apartment, they're not coming out. They're obviously just spending tons of time together. And they found out about the Vatican, so they leave. But we find out that the candy bar people are in a car doing surveillance on him, right? Mm-hmm. Butterfinger's in the back seat, and he literally asks Kit Kat and Almond Joy, "Do you want me to go in and rape him?"
Right. I put that down too. With the puke face next to it. I was like, "What the
biggest letters?
fuck?
What the fuck? Butterfinger, what the fuck?"
Well, you gotta take them serious as bad guys.
So, do you want me to rape them? And then he reads Dr. Zeus.
Yeah.
What? This is the most wild moment that I must have just blocked out as a kid.
Well, this is what I'm talking
Holy
about with the
cow.
violence. Is it's like it's a very cartoony, silly movie, but then
then you get, "Do you want me to rape them?"
But they want you to know that the bad guys really mean business.
that they'll rape you.
Yeah.
Given the chance. Well, at least the big guy will. The Butterfinger guy
Right.
will. With his Butterfingers.
And they kill people.
Oh, I just get... Okay. We'll move on.
Like, dude, when that bomb
they
went
absolutely
off,
kill people.
When that bomb went off at the auction, there were arms and legs, just
just
disembodied body
flying
parts
everywhere.
just
Yeah.
flying everywhere.
People die, like, indiscriminately in this movie. Like, people don't care. There's no follow-up to deaths. There's no...
The 2 twin
There's
henchmen
nothing.
guys, remember?
Oh, yeah.
Minerva just shoots them both
Shoots
right
him
in the
head.
fucking
And he's
forehead.
like, "Oh, my God,
Pop, pop.
Minerva, I was joking."
Yeah.
What?
Craziness.
So, if anybody is going to watch this is definitely an R movie.
Yeah, it's not kid friendly, but it's weird because it does give off like a kid friendly vibe. It's very weird. It's like you're watching Spy Kids with a lot of gore.
Yeah, and so in these next scenes, you find out real quick. You're like, Doc Girl's in on it. Doc Girl's a nun. Doc Girl's like a spy for the Vatican. And you find this all out within like probably fucking 2 minutes.
The Vatican is working with the CIA, who is playing
working
both
with the
sides,
Mayflowers.
who is working with the Mayflowers.
And she's working with Hudson Hawk. That's playing... And she's playing him, apparently, for the Vatican. But really, she wants Hudson Hawk to win because now she knows Tommy. And
now she knows Hudson's... Oh, and then you find out Tommy
is in on it.
And
he's the one that set all this up.
Because he tries to call him back in New Jersey, and then...
And we find this out in probably an hour and 10 minutes into an hour.
Because you see Tommy getting into the limo while he's calling Tommy.
Oh, man.
Because you can't make it any more obvious than that. He's calling Tommy on the phone. Tommy's not answering, and then in the background we see
Yeah.
But Hawk does not. That Tommy's in Rome and he's getting into a limo.
And then moving forward, they bring him in to try to talk sense into Hudson when they want him to do more heists. They have a roll around, fight over a gun, fake fight. This is the first time that we get to see Tommy die out in the front of the Mayflower's home. They have a fake ambulance roll up. They pick him up and they take him to...
Big reveal. It was all
set up.
Staged. Tommy's
fine.
Fine, he's not in on it.
Ketchup packets.
He's the one that is double-crossing the Mayflowers and stuff to help Hudson.
Dun. What the hell? I cannot, like, with as many crossovers as I've picked up in this, like, I figured that everybody's just doing everybody good, right? Everybody's, like, we fucked everybody over and crossed over so many, everybody's even, and we're actually coming out good deals with everybody? Is that what's going on? Like, I don't know where we're at with this. Like, I don't know...
It's like adding positive and negative numbers.
Yeah, like...
You're like, are we back
Are we
to
just
zero?
zeroing each other out here? Like, what are we doing?
So Tommy's in on it. The nun has had a change of heart because she realizes Hudson's actually a good dude.
Yep, now we're back at the nun's apartment because they think Tommy's dead and they think Hudson's just gone.
And the candy bars show up.
Before that, he gets another cup of coffee. Doesn't get to drink it because it's still filled with poison.
Yep.
That she tried to use on him before, that she did use on him before, and he still don't know that she's a nun because she never tells him, and he's trying to bang her.
Yeah.
This is an awkward scene.
This doesn't taste like cappuccino. Boom. I guess I put too much whatever in it, and then he's out.
And then he's out. And then him not knowing that she's a nun, and then him trying to have sex with her, is... And Tommy just like laying on the couch watching it all happen like a perv, like you can't tell your main man that, like, hey man, she's a nun. Maybe, fill him in a little bit so he doesn't make an ass out of himself.
Oh, is Tommy aware?
Yeah, Tommy knows.
Oh, great.
That's why he's laughing on the couch. Tommy knows for sure. But he's just a dick like that. He's just like, oh, well, I'm going to let my friend just totally
try to get laid with the girl that is definitely not going to
definitely not going to happen. At least not right now. Wait, I mean, at the end of the movie, I'm sure it would happen, but like not right now.
Yeah, we're 30 minutes away from her renouncing her vows.
Because God wants her to watch Hudson Hawk.
We'll get there.
We're working up to that.
So I'm getting mixed up then, because at some point they're in an apartment and they get...
So no, this is her apartment that they're in. They wake up in the morning and he's getting tasered in the ear by Butterfinger.
Right, that's when the candy bars.
That's when the candy bars get here, and this leads to the most wild shit.
I love this.
Like I know that we fucking have talked about this movie being absolutely wild and out of control.
No, but the next 5 minutes is by far some of the craziest.
So these guys show up, and they're just like, "We stole the other shit that we wanted you to steal. You're useless to us. We're just gonna kill you now."
Tying up loose ends.
So to do this, they pull out a rocket launcher that has
fires like
timed grenades or something on it.
Sticky bombs with timers?
Yeah, I immediately thought of like GoldenEye 007 and the little
proximity
sticky,
grenades.
yeah, the proximity grenades. That's immediately what I thought. I'm like, ooh.
Yeah. Some 007 shit here. Well, no, but first they dart Tommy and Hudson.
So they're
with curare darts.
The paralyzed scene was great scene.
Oh, dude, the way he says it, James Coburn, because Tommy and Hudson are always fucking hilarious and they're clever. And Coburn says,
I'm not as quick-witted as...
Yeah, he's like, I wish I could come up with this glib repartee like you guys, but I'm not as quick-witted, so I'm just going to paralyze you. And smack, they both get darted.
Yeah.
And then they're paralyzed and also kind of high, I guess, off of the...
Yeah,
because they get
absolutely.
a little loopy and they
they
start laughing and joking.
Oh yeah, and she's way out of it when she comes back too.
Yeah,
but so everything kind of goes wrong. They are able to move a little bit quicker than the bad guys think they should be able to, and they get the upper hand on the candy bars. And this blew my mind.
He puts his mouth on the blowgun and blows the dart back the other way.
Oh, that's the death that caught your attention.
And but what's hilarious is as she's being paralyzed, she says out loud. Almond Joy says, "This is what I get for using a blowgun on a nun." or something like that, like for paralyzing a nun. That's what she says.
The death that caught my eye in this was when they sticky grenade Kit Kat in the forehead with a frickin' grenade.
No, it's Snickers.
Snickers, yeah, Snickers.
The one with the
smart
glasses.
guy, the glasses, yeah.
Yeah.
They sticky grenade him straight to the forehead.
Right in the middle of his forehead.
And then proceed to show him blow up.
Yep.
Like, I mean, given it's 90s CGI blow up, so I mean,
I think it was practical effects.
I mean, I'd love seeing a mannequin look like him blow up all day.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Pretty hilarious.
I don't know if I was supposed to laugh at that moment, but I mean, it rumbled my tummy.
So Almond Joy's out of the picture. Snickers is out of the picture.
Yeah. Is Butterfingers dead at this point? Was he was in there, wasn't he? Didn't they blow him up?
No, remember Butterfinger dies later.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. He gets arrowed by the Mayflowers.
All the arrows, yeah.
Yep. Oh, yeah. The arrows. It looks pretty bad, boss.
Kit Kat is like pretending to be a statue.
Oh, God. What was that about? The clone where he's like mocking Bruce Willis and then mocking the chick and then he's like a weird statue. What the?
Yeah.
What was that?
I don't know. They just kept throwing it in. Oh, and he told him about the wire. Beware the blue wire.
Yeah, just out of nowhere, they're like, let us actually help you with something.
Yeah, Kit Kat is just helpful.
Yeah, and then he unties her. I always liked you. And then he unties Anne. What?
Yeah.
What?
It's weirdness. But
because as they try to kill Hudson and Tommy, they take Anne because she's still useful because she has knowledge of how to make the machine work, and she knows how, apparently, because we haven't ever mentioned this or brought this up before, she knows how to read the codex.
Yeah, because we don't have enough MacGuffins. It's not like there's already these fucking magic crystal thingies.
Oh my God. Like,
now we have a girl with a woman with special magical knowledge.
Yeah, like, and there's so much to unpack here. Like, you almost don't even know where to go. Like,
oh no, it's hard to keep up at this point when you're watching
at this point,
the movie.
yeah. So I mean, so many things happen.
But eventually we end up in the Mayflower's castle, and he's like practicing tennis inside.
Oh, and the Mayflower's castle, just so everybody's caught up, is Da Vinci's lab apparently, because they have this whole fucking thing built already in the castle.
Yeah, and somehow they were just able to buy this thing.
Yep, and so
it's not like a historical site.
Yeah,
they live there.
So and so now we get this big fight where they raid the castle to try to save her. We get another fake Tommy death at this point.
But before that, we get the best musical number of the whole movie.
Oh, we do.
Side by side.
Side by side, as they're bombing.
As they're just shooting sticky bombs all over this castle.
How many goddamn bombs can you fit in a golf bag?
I don't know, but they fired off like a good dozen of them.
This is like your backpack on like PUBG. You just literally have like you're like, as long as it's equipped, I can keep pulling them out.
Skyrim rules. You're not over encumbered yet.
I just have Santa's bag.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good.
Mary Poppins fucking bag.
And dude, I had a question for you. Are the Mayflowers dumb?
Yeah.
Because they're like, we spent all day and night trying to put this crystal together. And even me looking at it, I'm like, I'll put that together in 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Like I saw how Leonardo took it apart. Let me
like one of those wooden block puzzles that you buy at a fucking souvenir shop.
And then here you go. They kept her alive, right? Anne, to come translate this and put that crystal together.
But then who does it?
Hudson Hawk.
Bruce Willis
Just walks up and does it.
Yep.
Just click, click, click. And that made me think, like, that's probably the easiest puzzle ever.
30 seconds.
And they're just dumb.
Way dumb. Way dumb.
And
I have a question for you. How does the rest of this fucking machine still work? Didn't it sit there for like 600 years?
Oh, no. So they don't...
And it's made out of wood and shit?
They don't tell you this, but the Mayflower spent money to have it built again. So that's not the original machine. This is built again on
But it's going to work the same as the original.
Yes. Because, Jesus Christ, I'm going to have to put this movie together for them. If you go back to the conference room where they first have him, He says that he invested a bunch of money to do a bunch of research and found a bunch of books from Leonardo DiCaprio, from Leonardo da Vinci, that they found the research and the machines and the blueprints. Way back then. Holy crap. He doesn't actually say blueprints.
Those dots were supposed to connect somehow?
Oh, yeah. And he doesn't actually say blueprints. Or we did research. This is me piecing it together for you. Like, this is where we're supposed to get that from.
I shouldn't have to do this much work as the person just watching the movie.
I know, dude. I feel like I'm actually helping this movie come together.
But then this is where some weird stuff happens. Like, I wrote stuff down. The random changes in tone, like in the middle of this climax, he gets in a fight with James Coburn's character, and it's like a cartoon fight. Like, he gets stuck bending forwards and backwards, and you're literally hearing a ratchet noise, like...
Oh yeah. No.
Like he's a wind-up, like Bruce Willis is acting as if he's a wind-up toy.
So that's our main baddie, right? That you're talking about. Our main kind of...
The CIA guy.
The CIA guy. Our main baddie, right?
Who's dressed up like fucking Guile from the Street Fighter movie.
For some fucking reason. And this guy knows how to fight all of a sudden. And the best part about it is Bruce Willis beats him how? I dropped my hat. And he bends over to pick it up, and the guy just jumps off the roof, just self-heaves himself right off the goddamn roof.
Taekwondo style flying straight
right
kick.
Off the roof. I
right
love
off
it.
The roof.
Love it. If I ever go out, Matt, in a
I think
fight,
he said like "Yaw!"
and it goes off the roof. I shit you not. If I'm ever on a fight on a roof, just know that's the way I'm going out. I will fucking fling myself right off that roof.
If I'm ever in that situation, you better make sure I die fighting some sort of robotic dinosaur.
The only way I'm going to make it out is if somebody kicks my ass before I can fling myself off the roof.
Okay.
Because that's how I'm going out.
And folks, just to be clear, this is James Coburn. You would recognize his face if you saw him. He is from The Magnificent Seven, The Great Escape. He always plays tough guys, and he dies jumping off a roof saying "Hi-ya."
And then they move on to the fight with the butler. Which is funny, because he gets his sword. Butler's actually kicking Hudson Hawk's ass.
Oh, he has two swords now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you don't get to see that, which is super cool. I liked it.
Both sleeves.
You don't mention it at all
Dual
beforehand.
wielding.
But yeah, dual wield now. But this is where you get a funny scene that actually did kind of do it for me. Anne picks up a gun and tries to shoot the butler. And ends up almost shooting Hudson.
Oh, like 3 times.
Like three different times. And he finally tells her, stop helping me.
Stop trying.
Like, you're not doing it. Like, don't, please.
Dude, but before this, when they turn the machine on,
yeah,
right, Hudson reveals that he sleight of hand pocketed a tiny piece of the little crystal.
Lordy, I skipped over that part. Like, I was like, oh my God, we're doing this.
Oh, no, but a dude explodes.
Oh, no. Minerva gets splashed with
flesh.
With the lead and stuff that they're trying to turn into gold.
And she's like melted.
That's molten. Yeah. She's just a molten skeleton by the end.
And the same thing happens to Darwin.
With electricity.
But he's like all, face is all like cratered and burned like Freddy Krueger style, and his left eye is all grayed out and cataracted. Dude, and it's those weird ass shifts in tone. Because like I literally just saw Bruce Willis kill a guy by picking his hat up. And now these two people are like Cronenberg fucking body horror melting all over this.
Another tone change. We get a reference back to the intro, to the glider. As everything's blowing up in the Mayflower's castle.
Oh, yeah.
The only way out.
And they just glide down all light and fluffy. And
like,
they land
so perfectly. Hey, kids. And they let the kids play with it. Joyous scene. We walk out of the country hood. It's morning.
But I took us past Tommy's second fake death, though.
Oh, yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
The limo goes off the cliff.
No, that's third fake death.
Oh, I guess it is number 3.
Yep, that's third.
And it's like it's fucking on fire. Yeah. It explodes. It has one of those sticky bombs in it.
And their only explanation is, it had airbags. Oh, there was a sprinkler system in it.
In the rear. Yeah.
What?
How did you survive the fall?
Yeah, like...
What the fuck?
And how did you get back up here?
Right.
Like
you have a motorcycle now.
Yeah, you just rock climb. Did you steal that? Like, so many questions. You know what I mean?
So much that we don't know about Danny Aiello's activities at the end of that
Tommy Five Tone is
the man.
A badass. Like, he he must be where Hudson Hawk gets it from.
Obviously. And then what's weird is it does sort of end kind of abruptly.
Yeah. They start kissing, and we get the final Nintendo reference. Will you go to my apartment and play Nintendo with me?
Oh, yes. Yep. Another Nintendo reference.
And we find out at that moment that Tommy's alive again. What the fuck? And he finally gets his coffee.
And then it's like a freeze frame, and it turns back into the book that's on the table, and we get the narrator's voice again.
Yep. Finishing out the fairy tale, fade to black. And
it's just over.
And it's just over. We're done. Roll credits.
Yeah. And this was Bruce Willis's big vanity project. And honestly, this was the beginning of the slide. He had some down years there until he did Pulp Fiction again.
Yeah, and then even after Pulp...
And I think this is what got it started.
I would imagine so. This movie's only great if you're me. Bruce Willis's career obviously did come back on track with Red and...
But he was like the definition of a mega star in 1991.
Yeah. Die Hard was just ridiculously huge and all that, so... But
that's how he got this movie made.
Yeah, I mean, totally.
If you
wouldn't have been that huge,
if you're not Bruce Willis and it's not 1991, nobody's making this movie.
Yeah, you go fuck yourself.
The wardrobe literally looks like they made one trip to Mall of America and they bought everything.
Oh, it doesn't even look like that. It looks like everybody showed up dressed for work and they went, "Yep, this works.
We're good." Dude. And like the set pieces.
Which also explains why all the scenes kind of seem random, because they're like, we got to shoot all the scenes that are supposed to take place right now, today, while everybody's still wearing these clothes, because when everybody comes to work tomorrow, they'll be wearing different clothes, and we're going to have to shoot different scenes tomorrow.
Right. So were they really in Rome?
Oh, God.
Seems like they were on location.
Because I was like,
Rome.
My God, this is where the whole budget is shooting in Italy.
Yeah.
Because it seems like when they show the Vatican and like some of the background scenes, it seems like, yes, they are actually in Italy.
It's so weird because when we see interior scenes, when they're inside of a building or they're inside of a room.
They're just horrible set pieces.
It's awful. It's like, it's almost like it's on a soundstage, like that 70s show or Roseanne or something.
But anytime you get like
exterior shots
and world establishing shots, and anytime they're outside,
they're gorgeous.
Have these beautiful shots of Italy and of New York when they were there and everything. You have these beautiful churches and all that in the background.
The wide shots of Da Vinci's castle thing.
Amazing.
That's obviously
even the Mayflower's
That's
castle.
Obviously a real castle in the Italian hillside somewhere.
Yeah. All that.
But the inside of the castle is like you're waiting in line to get on fucking Indiana Jones.
Yeah, you're like, what in the actual fuck of a 80s sitcom rundown set piece did I just walk into?
Is this Fraggle Rock?
Yeah, you're like, am I about to get kidnapped by puppets?
For real, what? Dude.
Like, and it's so weird because they couldn't, like, it seems like they couldn't decide to whether to kind of take this really dingy with the set pieces or come full on clean, bright colors. So you have this almost harsh switch between the two.
Yeah, it's like Tim Burton made a James Bond movie.
Yeah, and then halfway through it decided, some of these set pieces ought to look prettier. Because you get some that are like a brand new apartment, and then we go to the probation offices, and it looks like it's straight out of fucking rundown Batman comic looking. You know what I mean? And then the next set piece is gorgeous. You're like, oh my goodness, the contrast change is overwhelming almost to the eyes.
It is really weird, and the movie just almost can't decide what kind of movie it wants to be because the hyperviolence is oddly juxtapositioned with the sense of humor that they try to establish.
I mean, so overall, with the glaring plot holes, the twisted storyline, convoluted everything, not great acting, the horrible, horrendous runtime of an hour and 39 minutes, all of that added up, 10 out of 10. I mean, I absolutely love it.
Okay, no, hold on. So, on a 10.0 scale of how much you enjoy watching it,
10 out of 10.
Okay. If you were to step back and objectively be like, this is what I honestly think that this movie should be scored, for general audiences.
1.3.
Oh my God.
I mean, I wouldn't actually recommend this movie other than the fact that, like, I want everybody to be as in on the joke as me.
Okay. I thought it was a solid 6 or a 7, maybe.
Okay, yeah. I mean, as far as, like, it being any type
5.5.
of actual storyline movie or anything like that, if you're going in to watch it with any idea like that, just don't watch it. If you want to go in for a feel-good, funny movie that you just don't have to wrap your brain around and it's just a good time.
Like a chicken McNugget combo meal for your eyeballs.
This is it. This is a 20-piece for your eyes.
Yeah.
Like, that's all it is.
It's 10 McNuggets.
Like I said before, it's prime Bruce Willis.
I'm going to give it 5 McNuggets out of 10. Out of a 10-piece.
Yeah. And then on the enjoyable scale,
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
100%.
10 out of 10. And, geez, maybe I just like dumb, ridiculous stuff. But and it's probably because I grew up on it, too.
I'm going to watch it again before my rental expires.
Oh, yeah. I got 48 hours. I'm definitely going to hit it up again, for sure.
There's a 100% chance of that happening.
Yes.
So it can't be that bad.
We may even end this podcast and just go watch it.
Possibly. I got no beef with that movie. If it's a film from a time when it was still okay to kill a dog with a tennis ball.
Oh, right out the window.
And launch it right out the window.
No animals were hurt in the filming of that movie, as far as we know.
Or this podcast. Anyways, Hudson Hawk is a wild-ass film. It's like a time capsule from 1991 of all the shit that you really don't want to remember. But I loved watching it. I think this was a really fun idea. What are we going to do?
So,
what's our next podcast?
Next podcast will probably be This Is Sports. And then also look for This Is Life. And then also we'll do some This Is Old Games.